The invasion of Ukraine by Russia has sparked the most deadly conflict between Moscow and NATO allies since the end of the Cold War. The dispute stems from the Ukraine's choice to strengthen connections with the European Union and NATO, setting course away from Russia, a nation with which it shares powerful social and cultural ties stretching back to the Middle Ages. Russian President Vladimir Putin made clear in a speech days before ordering the attack that he considers Ukraine to be in Russia's fold, a position it has held since the days of the Russian Empire under Catherine the Great in 18th century, and throughout the nation's shared history in the Soviet Union. War is causing political and economic division around the world. Due to the tension between the two countries, the leaders of the other countries have diverse viewpoints on the situation. Others publicly express their opinion and displeasure with what is happened. Yet other countries remain cognizant of the current situation. Economically, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine wreaked havoc in global markets, affecting everything from energy prices and regional sovereign dollar bonds to safe haven asset and stock markets. This battle has a global economic impact by reducing gross domestic product and rising inflation, and it has the potential to profoundly restructure the global economic order in the long run. It also undermining company confidence and causing investor uncertainty, which will cause asset values to fall, financial conditions to tighten, and capital outflows from emerging countries to occur. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine posed economic, trade, and human resources implications to the country and Filipino people. In fact, you probably already felt the effects. One of it is the crude oil inflation, weakened pesos against US dollar, and fall of Philippine shares. Crude oil inflation. Russia is currently one of the world's top oil exporters. It produces 4 to 5 million barrels of oil per day, accounting for 8% of global production. However, as a result of numerous nations' sanctions against Russia over its occupation of Ukraine, oil supplies has tightened and prices have risen. It achieved a high of $118 per barrel, which was the most since February 2013. Another factor driving up prices is that OPEC, or the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, does not want to increase their production. Apart from a supply shortage, oil prices are now high as many economies recover from the effects of COVID-19. More people are venturing out in cars and other vehicles powered by gasoline or diesel. As a result, demand is high, weakened pesos against US dollar. Oil costs are hurting more than just direct oil customer. The Philippine peso has fallen against the US dollar as a result of rising oil prices and higher import costs. When the prices of oil rises and the cost of borrowing rise in tandem, the purchasing power of the Philippine peso is plummets. The fall of Philippine shares. The conflict between Ukraine and Russia has an indirect impact on the Philippine Stock Exchange, or PSE. In fact, on February 24, the Philippine stock market fell by 2%. In addition, the stock market index plummeted 1.9%. On top of that, the U.S. Federal Reserve may raise interest rates, increasing the investor worry. War between Russia and Ukraine is relevant for regular Filipinos since the Philippines had also been affected by the conflict, particularly in terms of crude oil. It has an impact on many Filipinos' jobs, specifically those that demand the use of gasoline, such as farmers and fishermen. If the crisis continues, not only ordinary Filipinos but also those who enjoy a nice lifestyle would face substantial difficulties. As a person, I believe that war is an ineffective means of assisting the people, and war is a symptom of a problem, not a solution. Let's say you win, but how can we call it a victory when so many people have suffered and died as a result of the conflict? The specific steps that I can recommend that the UN or other international organization must take in order to stop the war are: first, organize a conference in nations that are members of the UN or any other international organization to discuss the problem. Second, plan a strategy to persuade the leaders of opposing party. Third, deploying peacekeepers for the talks on peace. And the fourth and last, propose terms that the other party will find difficult to refuse.